So in this video we're gonna see how we can use the useReducer hook with the useContext hook to perform global state management. So the useReducer hook is mainly used for the local state management, but we can combine this with the useContext hook and we can manage state globally across multiple components. So suppose we have one root app component and under that we have multiple child components like component A and component B. So suppose we wanted to share the login status of the user across multiple components. So in that case we can combine the useReducer hook with the useContext and we can pass the login status to these multiple components. And not only that, we can also dispatch from these individual components. That means we can log in from a component and also we can perform log out operation from another component. So here inside the app component we have the initial state with the logged in as false, and also we have the reducer. So if the action type is login, then we're gonna return the login status as true. If the case is logout, then we're gonna return and we're gonna make the login status as false, and by default we're gonna return the state without modification. So this is our reducer. So here we're using the reducer and the initial state and we're creating the local state variable and the dispatch. Now if we wanted to pass this state across the component A and the component B, then we must use the useContext hook. So here we're gonna create the login context and we're gonna use the create context to create the context, and now we have to pass this context across these multiple components using the context provider. So login context dot provider, and here we're gonna pass the value. So we're gonna pass one object with the login state and we're gonna pass the state login dispatch and we're gonna pass the dispatch function, and here inside we're gonna pass those two child components, the component A and the component B, so that those components will have access to the value of the login state and the dispatch method. Now inside the component A, first of all we have to import this login context from the app component and make sure that we are exporting the login context. So we have to export this, and now we're gonna use the useContext hook, and here we're gonna destructure the login state and the login dispatch. So here we can show the status of the login. So if the login state is logged in, then we're gonna return true, otherwise we're gonna return false. And also we're gonna add one button in the component A to log the user in. So on click of that button we're gonna dispatch with the type login to log the user in. So we have to do the same thing in component B also. So we're just gonna copy paste. So here we're gonna rename component A to component B, and here instead of login we're gonna log the user out. So here we have to pass the dispatch type as logout, and that's it. So here you can see we are named exporting the login context from the app component. So whenever we are importing, make sure so we have to wrap that inside curly braces, and here it shows the login status. So initially it is logged out. Now we have the login and the logout button in component A and the component B. So we can click on the login button to log the user in. So current status is logged in, and in both of these components it is showing true. And also if we click on the logout button in the component B, it will log the user out and the status is changing across multiple components. So this is the way we can combine the useReducer hook with the useContext to manage the state globally across multiple components. So that's it for the video. See you in the next one. Take care.